One of the other things that was getting to be very common for a while were these neck knives, and these are just a couple of examples. And I've carried them for a while, and I've also noticed that sometimes, not these particular ones necessarily, but that they don't stay sheathed. Or if you're doing something that has a little body manipulation, like some light grappling or clinch stuff or close quarter stuff, it doesn't take much for that to unsheath itself in your clothing. So, we started noticing right away that you see these little bits of lanyard on somebody or some 550 paracord. It doesn't take much to feel something there. And I don't know about you, but having a knife that's that close to my torso that somebody could pop down a little and rotate and just start leaning into me, it just seemed like something that was less practical than I initially thought. So I kind of backed away from them a little. But a lot of the ladies that I train, they love them because sometimes a folder isn't convenient, and they want something that they can be in a nice dress or something, and they don't have anywhere to get a folder to go. But it's just what I found is that oftentimes, just heating up your Kydex and giving it a little pinch will alleviate some of that flexibility that they have to where, let's face it, I want to really have to yank to get that thing out of there. So,
So let's move back to this one. So let's say you've got a lady or a guy or whatever that decides to carry something like this,
mhm.
and they've done everything they can to heat it up and make sure it's not going to pop out. So is this a effective blade that somebody could use to defend themselves, or what would you do to modify this to make this a better tool?
This is actually the first one I picked up when you sat me down at the table here. Um, yeah,
I'll hold it up so people can see it.
it's pretty gnarly. And when I say that, it has a lot of the same features I was talking about. It's got a nice little area up here where you've got a nice thumb ramp that you can choke up on, and this is going to allow for you to have much more leverage than I would without that thumb ramp. This is me holding tight, and that knife still moves in my hand. But the minute I lock that in, it's not going anywhere. And let's face it, I don't really need more than 1.5 inches if I'm accurate. So with this, if I can get this into the right area, it doesn't take much, and you've got so much leverage that you can really press on this. The one little thing I brought up is that I would probably take some 550 cord and wrap it around the whole handle, and then I'd tape over it with like some hockey tape or something. Something that's going to give me an extra little grip to it without my hands feeling like they're going to slide, especially if it were to get wet. And I really do like the way I've got a pretty good size mitt that my whole hand fits over that, which, the more surface area contact I have, I feel the better chance of me keeping control of that tool. Um, Now, not to pick on them by any means, but you can see how this fits in my hand, and this I can't even really get my third finger on there. And even if I do try to choke up on it, there's just too much float in my hand. I really, with this one, wouldn't feel as confident that I wouldn't end up partially over the blade, or that it wouldn't be able to get leverage on me. So, but
Opening letters with this thing is
yeah,
insane.
yeah. And you know what, though? In a smaller hand, like I've got a little 85-pound girl that trains with me, I'm sure it would fit fine in her hand, you
Yeah,
know?
try that.
Yeah, I'll bet Shelly would love it. And, the thing is it, it really is a craft. When people start making these knives, there is no one size fits all,
Right.
and really something like this, when I start thinking about close quarters and grappling, or if I was to end up in a grounded situation, this is going to move limbs for me. It's going to apply leverage. It's going to create opportunity. And there's really nothing more there than what you need. So um, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to have a nice defensive knife. Even something like this we were talking about earlier, you could take and lay on a cutting board, like a white Teflon cutting board, and you can trace it out, and you can make yourself a little trainer that you can start working with to feel confident with it. Because let's face it, it's a little scary if you're new to this stuff.